I'm leaving the language industry. This is a statement I've heard many, many times over the last year or so. It got me thinking, is this true? Is it my impression? What's going on? So I decided to run a poll on LinkedIn to ask my community what the story was. Fortunately, 455 people answered. The results are in. Are you interested? I'm going to tell you what they said. So 455 people answered the poll. The four options were: I have already left the language industry. I am leaving the language industry as soon as possible. I am looking for alternatives to leave the language industry, or I'm not leaving the language industry. Okay, so here are the numbers, let's say in percentage. So 10% of the people who answered the poll have already left the industry. 3% say that they're leaving as soon as they can find something. And about 24% are looking for alternatives to see if they're staying or if they're going. So this is a total of about 35% of the people saying that they're either already left or they're thinking about leaving. This is in this poll about 150 people. This is a big number. On the other hand, we have 300 people, or 305, saying that they're not thinking about going anywhere. And this is why we need to look at both sides and figure out which reasons make them stay and what reasons make them go, right? Let's look into it. So, reasons for staying. Well, there's a couple of them. Let's talk about three that I can think about from the top of my head, right? So, there are less projects. This is what everybody says. Most of the LSPs that we as a community work with actually send us less work. And when they do send us projects, they tend to be much smaller than they used to be. Is that how you feel? This is how I feel, right? So it's not like we don't receive projects, but when we do, the projects tend to be much smaller because there's only a few things left to do here and there, a few adjustments and all of that. So this is how I feel. Tell me if this is your experience, because it's interesting to know if everybody feels the same. But I would say that this is something that everybody feels, right? Then we have the fact that direct clients, a lot of them, even if they are not technology clients, they are implementing their own AI in their workflows. Therefore, I hear a lot of my friends saying that their direct clients simply decided not to work with translators anymore. They're doing everything internally. So we don't know the details of those workflows, right? But this is what I hear people talk about all the time. And then there's another problem that I think we don't talk about enough. There are lots of new projects, especially AI related, that require people who are something like, not even always, right? Native speakers, but they don't require professionals. So a lot of these, evaluation of engines, quality output evaluations, all of these things are actually done by people who don't have a professional background in languages or in translation. And this is one of the reasons why all of us professionals feel that the market for us specifically is shrinking, because we know that the market, the language industry market, is not shrinking, right? But this is one of the reasons why there's lots of work, but not necessarily work that requires professionals. Now, why should we stay in our industry? First, it's our passion, right? Our love for languages. This is what we've always done. This is what we've always wanted to do, right? So we're here because we believe that we should be here and we feel like this is our place. And there is a place for us, right? So let's look at a few of the reasons why we really think that we have a future here, right here where we are. So one of them is the new demand for languages that had not been in demand before, right? So more exotic languages for example, hyper localization projects. So this is something pretty hot. So if you have one of those more exotic language pairs, just go for it. Look for the work. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure you're a specialist in a special language, and therefore you will be treated in a special way. Huh? How many times did I say the word special, right? So there's a growth in demand for certain services that not all of us had heard about before, right? Like OPI, and this is over the phone interpretation. This is something that is growing and growing in demand. I know that it takes a very special, there you go, personality in order to do this. This is complicated. This is very demanding in terms of your psychological health and all of that, because it can be for pretty complicated situations. But there are, I'm sure, many, many scenarios in which you can bring on your language skills and you can do an amazing job. So if you haven't looked for it, just look around. I'm sure you will find a lot of OPI opportunities. So over the phone interpreting or interpretation. Then the obvious, there's a huge growth in media localization. So subtitling, voice work, all of these things are now in high demand. Subtitling and voice work have always been around, I know. I've done them many times. But the truth is that right now it's a popular thing. So there's a lot of projects, not only in subtitling, but also text to speech, speech to text. I don't know if you're familiar with this terminology, but look it up. I'm sure you will find something that will call your attention, and maybe you're already ready to jump into those activities, right? And then there's a need like never before for deep language knowledge. I say this every day, many times. Go deeper into your language knowledge. Clients need people to help them understand what is going on with their content. And one of these days, I'll do a video about the multiple possibilities that you have within this realm of events, right? So here you go. These are the reasons why you should either stay or go away from the language industry. I'm sure you can find yourself in one of these situations, and I'd love to know how you're feeling about it, if you're staying or if you're going. As for me, I'm sure you've guessed it. My idea is to stay here forever.